This is empowering the next generation of creators through esports. We've got a great team of experts here. The reason we brought this group together is just all of these folks that you see here are in a great position to talk about sort of where this creator culture and education and esports kind of all collide, right? So that's the idea behind what we're doing today. My name is Doug Konopelko. I am the National Esports Manager for CDW Education. And my partner in crime today, my co-MC, is Dr. Akila Willery. So Akila, take it from there.
And hello, everybody. Akila Willery. I am one of the education strategists with CDW Education, and I get the pleasure of servicing the South region and pretty much a little bit of any and every question that you've got in K-12. Hopefully, I can help guide you with that any time that you have questions. We are joined here with several other panelists that are going to help us guide this conversation. And I'm going to turn it over to Carolyn to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Carolyn Gluth, Head of Education for North America Channels here at Logitech.
And Robin?
Oh, my name is Robin. I'm the Chief Business Officer of LOGITECH'S and the former eSport Pro, but it was 20 years ago, so I don't know if it counts anymore.
Count it.
Still counts.
I think it still counts.
Still counts.
And Brian?
Hey, I'm Brian Dickman, also go by CleverLike, president of CleverLike Studios. Our company specializes in bringing educational experiences into video game platforms, and we're an Epic partner, so we're representing Epic and all the great things offered by Epic's interactive 3D product line.
Very good. And I think pretty much all of us, we have the same goal in mind today, is to figure out how do we empower those creators to further this esports journey. We know that there are a lot of you out there that have a lot of questions. You could be at the beginner stage, at the brainstorming stage, or maybe you have some insights that you could share with the rest of us so that we can all be learners together. But we really do want to thank our panelists for being here today and maybe hear a little bit more about exactly what it is that Logitech is able to do to help support this whole conversation with esports. So Carolyn, I think I'm going to you for now.
I'd be happy to. So hi, everyone. Again, my name is Carolyn Gluth. Logitech has been in the, sometimes by default, sometimes because of product exclusively engineered for education. And now it's a product that we've been in the market for a long, long time. Logitech G, we've been in that esports world for seems like forever now since its fruition. But we actually do have a very solid commitment to education. We want to make sure it has access and inclusion to all. We want to consider the whole person when we are designing our products and making sure that we are really designing for students, whether that's taking into consideration their fine motor skill development or taking into consideration sometimes they can be a little tough on their products. But we also want to be really innovative. We want to create things that help change the model of education so that we're making an impact and we're helping them grow in that school. And then also we need to make it simple and flexible. So we really do take this commitment of education very seriously. And these are some of our core values as we start in to talk about what we do in education. But we're all here for one thing, and that's to understand Logitech, CDWG, and Epic, how that comes together with esports and creativity. So we have to pat ourselves on the back. Hold on, there it is. We are the world's #1 best-selling gaming gear brand. So it makes sense for us to take all our expertise and all of our research and studies and bring that into esports at a lower K-12 level, a collegiate level, because we just heard Robin, he's a former e-pro. So we have all of these insights that we're able to really help and guide conversations. Next, we like to talk about what we're trying to do. Okay, everybody remembers there used to be something called a library where books and Dewey Decimal Systems were.
That sounds made up.
Yeah, it's a real thing. I remember looking through the card catalogs.
Or urban legend, maybe.
Yeah. But now you take that same mentality, and those libraries are a place where creativity flourishes. There's 3D printers, not just one of those printers that were do black and white, or the laser printers with the holes on the side of the paper, like when I was growing, 3D printers, right? There's content creation studios where kids can create content because it's built into their curriculum. There's huge amounts of esports labs so that the kids can not only design but code their own games. It's just super fantastic to learn how this is now changing the scope and scope of education, and our products are built into around it to enhance that and to create these immersive experiences, to be a simple plug and play, because we're not trying to make it complicated, but to expand beyond the classroom, but work through the classroom. We're able to take it, and then nowadays these kids have projects where they can create content for their assignment. One of my kid, personal story real quick, my kiddo had summer reading, and in order to prove the summer reading, we all had to put costumes on and reenact his favorite scene from the book. While we recorded it, he edited it and turned it in. He is 9 years old. So this is a true methodology of how we're able to incorporate content creation into this overarching trend. And then of course, durable product design. But that goes right back into what incorporates this content creation world. We have the fun esports, and esports, it transcends outside of the players, and we'll talk about that in a second. But you can record and live stream. You can make it a community impact. They can now live stream morning announcements, pep rallies, track meets, football games, you name it. They now have the capability of expanding their reach to alumna, and the community surrounding them. That's a big thing. Maybe they wanted live stream an esports competition. That's super fun that now they have the capabilities to do that. But also outside of those two, we also help support some of the graphic design or the coding nature of what they're developing within the schools. But why, you ask? Why? Because when you look at the live streaming, when you look at this production and editing, what value it brings is it inspires these core things within education, the community involvement. There's nothing more important than having your school behind the community behind your school's activities. To make that child feel appreciated and supported within inside their school and outside of their school is amazing. But it also helps develop career skills, creativity, self-confidence. 8 out of the 10 kids that play esports would not be involved in any other extracurricular activity at their school. That's a whole lot of learning a bunch of skills that they wouldn't have access to otherwise. If they're at home gaming, it's one thing to win by yourself. It's another thing to win with a team. It's one thing to lose by yourself, but it's also another thing to lose and be supported by a team. It helps build and engage learning. You now have a way to reference or support your learning. And it leads ultimately to careers and pathways that maybe they weren't exposed to before, whether it's marketing, journalism, PR, event management, sales, all of the good stuff. So we always like to take that into consideration as we're having conversations around what we're trying to do. And then lastly, we make it simple. We have solutions for all of it: audio solutions, video solutions, and performance and productivity solutions. Love that blue microphone, Doug. We really do incorporate our products into our solutions, and we design our products based upon what we find huge value in driving the esports and creativity. There we go. I knew I'd get it. It's not even Monday yet, y'all. So we're really excited about having this conversation and really diving in a little deeper into what our capabilities are and how we can support it.
All right, so Carolyn, before we go to the first official question, you can't tell us that you had to act out one of your child's books without telling us which book and which character did you have to play?
Okay, so he read Harry Potter over the summer, and I'm going to tell you that it was not easy playing Hermione, but I did.
Oh, nice.
Oh man, I'm sure we'll link
Swish
to the full
and
video
flick.
in the description.
I will
Yeah.
never post that. My
We'll be
bad
looking.
British accent will not make the day of light.
Lovely. So why is creativity and that creator culture so important in education? Carolyn, we'll start back with you and then work our way around.
Yeah, creativity's always been super important in education, but it's how that creativity expands or changes within time. And right now, the biggest trend in the creativity space that's really impacting how the children are learning is content creation. How do you make a quick impact and have it be absorbed and retained, but still keeping their interest in moving on, right? And one of the biggest tools in the toolbox that teachers have to do that is creating short videos, is creating a content that will not only let those children retain it, but also allows them to go back and watch it again if they're having trouble absorbing it. So this whole world has changed on how teachers teach, and it really does have to do with the way that creativity has changed, not only for the students, but for the teachers. So that's kind of my perspective on it. But we also have to remember the education that we grew up in. I didn't know what coding was. I mean, I'm not that old, but I was born in the 80s. I didn't have coding in school, but the creativity that they can now create coding wise, graphic design, 3D printing, were all things that are now built into the curriculum to help support this hands-on mentality that is really going to be able to be adapted to what their desires are.
So Robin, being Logitech G, the gaming side, what role do you feel like creativity in this creative culture then plays in the esports and gaming side of the world?
Oh, I almost feel like when it comes to esports and creativity, like esports was the starting of content creation. Before Twitch, it was called Justin TV. It was the earliest form of content creation as we see it today, and social media. But more importantly, when we think about creativity and content creation, we also see it from if we take the mind of looking at from esports, it's really about creating new solutions and innovation. Because with creativity and creation, what we see in esports players is they need to find new ways to solve things. And that's what empowers them to actually perform and be better, which allows us to create also new solutions together with the players, which is a key part of not just who we are, but also about our development process in anything we do. And so thereby, we look at players, we look at teams, we look at content creators, they come up with new solutions. And now we figure out how can we use those solutions to improve them further. So for us, it's like a mandatory cycle of development process for us. Like without it, we wouldn't probably be where we're at today.
All right, Brian, let's continue the hits here. What do you got?
Yeah, I like to say that video games are the new poster board. Right? If you ever like drop your kid off at school with a trifold poster that they're bringing in like for their assignment, they have a social studies assignment or something like that. They're creating this poster board. Like the options are so limited, and now like if you can embrace video games, you give students a voice, right? And not only that, but you give them a voice in a platform that they love to be in and that they're comfortable in, and also adds a collaboration. There's all these other capabilities to it. So like. I think one of the really powerful things about education and video games and creativity is that you give students a new voice that they're super motivated to use, and offers them ability to articulate a vision like no other. So, when it comes to video games and creativity in education, it happens like you can engage them in learning more. So you can create content that they want to interact with and they want to learn from, and that they can develop empathy for situations that they can't exist in their normal life. We can simulate that in video games. They could demonstrate what they are learning, what they're understanding, and they could also articulate new ideas and imagination, innovation. So it really goes from all the way from learning the content to demonstrating what they know to articulating their own vision and giving them their own voice, which is amazing.
I gotta agree with you there because I even with this conversation about creators and content, it really does open the door to a future that we can't even quite imagine just yet. So I mean, just like when Robin made the comment about how Twitch originated as something else, video games being the originator of, places to create and display that content. Here we are all these years later, a very short amount of time later, where we see a whole new world of creativity opening up that we could not have imagined just a short while ago. But I want to remind the audience, we've got a chat that is open and we have a Q&A section as well. So as the conversation is going, if you've got comments or questions, please put it there and we will pose that to the panelists by the end of this discussion. So we'll be able to address any questions or things that you would like to highlight later on. But Brian, I want to bring the questions back to you. And can you let us know what Unreal Engine is doing to empower these creators right now?
Absolutely. So I have a little slide deck that we use called From Player to Creator. So like I said, the Clever Lake Studios specializes in creating experiences inside of video games that engage students in learning. And we're an Epic partner. We've created about 18 pieces of content, including hours of code and introductory, getting things into the classroom. We're also the company that does all their interactive 3D accelerator education classes to really bring educators into the fold with interactive 3D. So two things as a viewer of this, if you're a student, your job is to not exclude yourself from the content. If I'm talking about a teacher, your job is not to exclude yourself from that content. Your job is to use that information to convey to your teachers, because this is kind of a grassroots effort we're still in. So your role in bringing this to the future is interacting and informing your educators. And obviously, if you're an educator, you want to look at what you can do with this to bring these tools in and create a brighter future for the students that you're engaging with. So that's basically what we're going to run through here. One of these days, there we go. So so pathways from player to creator. So most people know with Epic Games, Fortnite, right? So Epic didn't just exist to create Fortnite. The company's been around for a long time, and the popularity of Fortnite really created an opportunity where Epic could, create more value for the community and engage in helping people become, more career ready, and also engage in more opportunities. So there's this cool pipeline from you as the player in esports participant. It doesn't have to be Fortnite. You could kind of transpose other opportunities, but in the Epic timeline, we have Fortnite as a game, to Fortnite Creative as a method for conveying your information, and a product called Twinmotion, and of course Unreal Engine, which is the engine that made Fortnite Creative and Fortnite. So Fortnite Creative, the cool thing is it's a sandbox environment. It's open. The students love to use it. The graphics are amazing. Students are super familiar with it. So anyone could get in, and you can go as far as you want to even making it a full-time career, which a lot of people have done. And, it's available on all your consoles and now mobile devices through a lot of these online web-based sharing. And then you've got real-time collaboration parties. You can party with your friends in your class and build projects together, and projects that you're motivated to use. And it leverages your investment, not only just your investment in time, but your investment in all those skins and outfits and dances and stuff like that. That becomes your cast of characters. So you don't have to recruit your mother to be an actor in your project. You could actually switch the skin of your outfit and actually use that outfit to be the character and create the scenes that you want. So all that investment gets repurposed. So it's a really cool concept to think of, that investment being part of your creator journey. And of course, we created these hour of code lessons where you could learn coding concepts, but you're learning how to use Fortnite Creative, but you're also learning how can you take what's logically in your head and actually translate that to, oh, that's an actual programming concept that's used in anything. And so we've created 5 hours of code activities that you could use in Fortnite Creative. And that's a great way to kind of get engaged in computer science and also realize how smart you already are and how much your experience leverages you into new opportunities. And one of the sleeper hits of the interactive 3D pipeline is Twinmotion, which is really like an architectural visualization software. It's way like people that are working on big buildings might make a digital copy of the building or digital twin, which is where Twinmotion comes from. And then they'll create a virtual environment around it to kind of prototype proposals or construction phases, things like that. So this tool is actually really powerful as an education tool because it gives you access to really cool, powerful capabilities in a very simple interface. So it's nice that you get so much bang for your buck in creating environments that tell stories. So we teach that as well. So we've got the, Epic Games as the creator of Unreal Engine, as a publisher creating video games and content platforms, as well as it's a tool in the industry that could get you a job. So like the really exciting thing is like, here, I'm going to bring this tool in and I'm going to help you have a voice for your projects and teach you some more advanced topics. But all the while, you're learning a tool that's used in the professional environment and is going to be used like in everything. And so leveraging, like you said, 3D printing. If you've played Minecraft as a kid and you're graduating to the next level, if you've worn goggles and flown a drone, that awareness, the 3D spatial awareness is something that as a student you've really mastered, and you're leveraging that into the Unreal Engine. And so the job opportunities that you're having doesn't have to be, I have to be a game programmer. No, you can go into architecture, games, storytelling, automotive broadcast, training, manufacturing, advertising. All of these different opportunities exist in this platform because of the capability and your skill set that you've been developing as a gamer. Moving towards a creator is something that could bring a bright future for you. And that's why it's also important for educators to kind of bring these kind of platforms into the school, because you have that capability. So film and television, tons of films. And then we've got the hours of code that we've created. They're creating your first game where you get to learn coding concepts while creating a game. And we just launched Introduction to Robotics, so you could learn how to code your own autonomous vehicles and the basics of coding inside of Unreal using our hour of code projects as well. And there's Epic has a ton of free resources, lesson plans that you could follow, online learning. So as a self-directed learner, you can learn all kinds of things. As an educator, you can follow lesson plans that are available for free. Everything for educators and education is free from Epic Games in the interactive 3D pipeline. So I'm going to leave this screen up for a little bit and let you grab a screenshot of it or take a picture of it. These are some of the educator opportunities for learning interactive 3D. And we also have a summer camp where we can, we're working with Stride, K12.com, that will teach Fortnite Creative in a series of different summer camps that you could sign up for, and those are free as well. And I've included Steve Isaac's information down below, Epic's education program manager, and can help you get in touch with these types of learning opportunities for you, for your school, basically, and my contact information is there as well. So whatever we can do to get you to embrace interactive 3D, bring the platform in, start leveraging the investment students have made in gaming and connect that to their future career, that is the magical piece that we're working on in the education space.
Well, Brian, other than the fact that you said, if you like when you're playing Minecraft as a kid, because I played yesterday, so I was only mildly offended, and really excited. Like literally, my son who's 8 was like, I heard there's going to be an update. Now there's going to be frogs. I was like, frogs, right? And you feel yourself getting caught up in those types of things again. So yeah, 100% agree. And actually, we did another webinar specifically with Steve just a few weeks ago, right, on that same topic, right? So there's definitely also that content out there. But let's start with you then, because we're already talking about Unreal. What are some specific examples of that creativity with some of the tools maybe you just shared really shining in the education itself?
Yeah, so one of the useful things, and I could provide a link to that showcase. So I'll share a screen again real quick, just so I can kind of play it while we're talking. But basically, there's a reel that's available I think I could probably share sound on that. So I'll just do that real quick and start this. So basically, these are student created works on the screen here. And of course, what I don't want to do is intimidate like an entry level student thinking like, well, this is impossible. I can't do this. What's great about the platform is that it's an entry level, like you can get in and you can get started. The assets, like all these assets, you might realize when you get into it, oh, I didn't have to invent all of this stuff. I can collaborate with other people. I can access other free content. I'm bringing a lot of things in that the community has created, and I'm assembling them in a special way based on my vision and my ideas. So a lot of what you see here is students putting together assets and resources in a way that doesn't make them have to do every single piece of it. And this student showcase video, these sizzle reels that Epic puts together, they're looking for students. I always like to connect like the opportunity to it, like you as a student, you're capable, you're skilled, you can take advantage of opportunities, and this is one of them. Like Epic is looking for students that create great things that they could feature on these reels. And I like to also have goals, so you could say, I want to be on that sometime. I'm going to start investing my time and learning how to do this, so I could set that as a goal. And then the people you collaborate, the things you do, the work you do gets you towards that goal. If you don't make it, you still have made it very far in the progress of in the process of trying to get there. So I think that's valuable.
Yeah, I think this is just slightly better than that really terrible website I designed in college that took like 10 months of learning HTML. Those are incredible, right? So I'll throw it over to Logitech. What are some examples of creativity really shining in education that you've seen?
Well, so everything that we make helps the students create that content on the Epic platform, right? So we're here to help with taking that creativity to the next level. Anything from the blue microphone and doing the voiceover work and making sure that you have all of those highlight reel content, sound effects, all of that kind of taking place within that beautiful work that the children have done, right? But when you take it outside of that scope, the students, they shine being able to explore what they're passionate as well. So maybe it's not gaming, maybe it's now they want to do a podcast, or they want to talk about something else that they're passionate about, right? They want to do a vlog, they want to do a YouTube channel that helps promote something that they're passionate about. It opens up a gateway to allow them to express themselves, and kind of goes back to our creativity conversation. It shines because they get to express their passions and what they would love to achieve, and really set a foundation to whatever skill set or pathway they want to go on. But that's my perspective. Robin, did you have anything that you wanted to chime in around?
Oh, I think you nailed it pretty hard. What just adding, what we're thinking about everything that's in input and output out of the games and the learning curve itself. And very often people see us as an input company. We also participate as an output company. And that's just where you have how you create the content and how you're being perceived by an audience, or about a classroom, or even so forth, that you're trying to create voiceovers or quick macro skills. So we think of both interactions with the software and the hardware itself.
100%. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys, we're talking about a lot of different things that, that the kids are creating right now, things that they are showcasing right now. But then we're also talking about bridging to whatever that next phase in their life is going to be, their career, whatever other hobbies they're going to pursue later. Why is it important for the kids to be able to use the same tools that professionals are using out in the field?
Well, I can jump on that one.
Brian,
I'll jump in. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, first of all, you can, and they're free and they're accessible, right? So the fact that it's there, and you're actually, as a gamer and as a student, including any other learners of any age really that is engaged in these platforms, you have already developed a significant amount of skills around that. So, you know, you're learning how to articulate your vision and demonstrate your learning inside of these platforms. And you know, like if I'm giving career advice to someone, I'll say, just do what you love to do and just spend more time on it. The more time you spend, the better you get. The better you get, the more people you connect with. The more people you connect with, the more opportunities. Like the lines and the dots connect. So that's the great thing about like getting students in on the ground floor of these tools, because they can at that point branch off into their areas of passion and get into delving deeper. And there's one of the accelerators we're teaching right now is for Los Angeles, and they have an apprenticeship programming. So we're teaching the educators how to bring interactive 3D to their students so that the industry can pull these students out of school and get them involved in apprenticeship programs in the industry. So get the students better prepared for real world opportunities and connecting the dots there. So they're not yanking them out of school, but they're bringing that apprenticeship program to education. So I think that's a great way to kind of show like, hey, this is a real path. This is a real opportunity if you're interested.
Robin, you want to go? Or?
Well, for us, it's you. The funny answer is that you could actually use anything you like, but you would cap your performance and you would cap your capabilities, because you're not. What Logic invests in is, and I'm going to go back to the whole development cycle of why we even do gaming to begin with, is when we work with pro players, we're not just creating another mouse or another keyboard. We're looking how they use it, and we're looking through the lens of how the game develops. We're looking through how they actually maneuver the keys in their arms. We're sitting with high-speed cameras. We're looking through fitting exercises. Like, people find it crazy when we see 3 years of fitting exercises on a gaming mouse. And the reason we're doing this is because there's so much going into it that people don't recognize. You spend tremendous amount of hours in front of the screens. So things like posture and things like how you hold your hand and ergonomics play a huge difference into this. Because otherwise you're going to cap yourself in your capabilities, and you're going to find yourself also in a strained position. And we know from years of sports, if you are in an uncomfortable position or you don't feel like you're capped, you're not going to perform at your best. So we coming through the lens like you can use actually anything you like. You're just going to find yourself in a capped position and uncomfortable position unless you have gear that is tuned for that kind of environment.
To expand on that a little bit, I think you hit the nail on the head, Robin. We never want to cap the capabilities of students. We never want to say, this is your ceiling and this is the best you can do, right? We always want to open the door and say, this is your future. The possibilities are endless. And that's pretty much in every avenue of learning. We never want to say, this is as high as you can go. So when you take the ceiling off, then anything is capable. But that goes beyond esports. That goes beyond content creation. That's in every avenue of education. And I think one of the main things that we hadn't touched on is the accessibility component, where we will and do design products that any kid can play. So any kid can help and be part of a team, because we have products that'll assist them doing that. Just taking something as simple as a vertical mouse. There are kids that have challenges that this is the most perfect mouse for them to use, and they can now navigate, whether it be gaming or designing or coding, because they can hold that mouse that they can't control any other mouse. So it's just making sure that we tie the two ends of software and hardware together so that the possibilities are truly, the sky's the limit.
So I'm going to hop in for 1 second on this one as well, and just say, you know, one of the things that I love about the two groups we've got gathered here, right, in Logitech G and in Unreal Engine, is to Akila's question, right? These are the tools that professionals are actually using out in the field. So it's not a case of like, I learn Unreal Engine in school and then I become a professional and I have to learn new tools to be able to build in 3D. Like, those are the tools that professionals are using. So the students have this running start, right? Where, like, I feel like so many things we learned in school, we learned like the school version of it, right? And then you get out in the real world, everyone's like, oh, nobody uses that. sorry for your luck, you're starting back at zero.
Doug,
right?
did you know there's no adult Oregon Trail?
I don't believe you, because I think it really exists.
It's not a thing.
So I just think that that's a super powerful thing, especially for our students that are in these like CTE programs, right? Where we're trying to tell them this is what exists out in the real world. And for some of those CTE programs, they're using sort of a simulated version of what really exists. But for things like Unreal, for tools that like Logitech brings to the table, for people who are professional creators, these and professional esports athletes and professional anything else, animators, designers, like these are the real tools. And I think that's super exciting for our students.
And you know that you hit on a point actually Carolyn did when we were talking about that there is no ceiling. You don't want there to be a perceived ceiling, because the whole point of this being a creative space is that it's never finished and it's never mastered. It's constant and it continues to evolve. And that brings in the scope of, you know, the larger audience of whether these, regardless of what that learner or that person that's experiencing this is coming from, is the accessibility piece and the equity focus. So can we, Brian, I'll pose this to you first, talking about what are we doing, or how are we doing our best to make these experiences accessible to anyone that wants to be involved in this space?
Yeah, great question. And to me, like, accessibility and equity means a lot of things. And so I'll probably hit on some of those things. But you know, one of the things that is really exciting in this space is, you know, to Doug's point, it's like the reason you had the watered down version is because that's the version the school could afford, because in the industry, you know, video editing with Avid and things like that back in the day, hundreds of thousands of dollars for like the editing unit. Of course, you're not going to use that to teach video editing in high school, for instance. But now, like, the fact that you can have like the tool that's worth the hundreds of thousands of dollars for free, that's super exciting. And that's why like career tools are finding their way down into the, you know, secondary education level. So some other exciting things. So first of all, like Epic does everything for free, right? So there's like no strings attached education, free software, free learning. You know, these accelerators that we teach for Epic are free to the learners that attend. So that's super cool. And then like one of the new exciting things is this hardware. Like, this is a beast of a program. It's got a lot of capabilities, and video games are you know, heavy to run and need hardware. And so with web-based you know, online streaming gaming platforms, students are now like running Unreal Engine and Fortnite Creative on Chromebooks in their schools. So you have like this computer that's known for basically 0 horsepower and just more access to the internet, and you're able to run like the, you know, top tier horsepower applications on those devices that you already have. So we talk about like, you know, who can access this, who can take advantage of this opportunity in their school. The barriers to entry just like keep coming down and down and down. So that's really exciting. And another thing to throw in there is Epic has $100 million mega grants program that anyone can apply to, and they have a good portion of it dedicated to education. So educators that they won't necessarily buy like computers for you, but like if you have a program that could increase accessibility and equity in this environment, and you have a pitch that you can give to them, their mega grants program is a great way to do that. And the application is like super simple. It's not meant to deter people. So.
And kick that over to Carolyn or Robin, you know, to let us know what other ways are we making these experiences accessible to all?
I think there's a lot of funding out there right now. I think when it comes to esports and activities that are going to be more inclusive and engaging and reaches a different set of students and children, and offers a different path to different opportunities in the future, like there are esports scholarships now. So it is 1000% something that a lot of schools are investing in. I think when it comes down to it, we've really got to help them design what that program looks like. But yes, there's a lot of grants out there, but really we want to make sure when it comes to accessibility, I can't always help with the funding portion of it. We can always try and advise them on how it assists, how we can help them scope it out so that they understand the values and benefits when they're writing grants, right? But I think when you're looking at it holistically, the accessibility that you're giving to the students to funnel them to a career path that they weren't necessarily going to have opportunities to engage with otherwise is really how esports helps with our standpoint. We don't have a free version of hardware. It's just the way it is, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have a sample pack that we can send out to all the students. If we could, we probably would. But it's just a matter of how can we tie that to and help them formulate the strategy as they're applying for the funding, because we feel that if every student has the same access with the same tools to, and again, remove that cap, that everything, the door is just open for them.
So we have an accessibility team in our development team for products in general, and actually also in an esports organization. So if you guys don't mind, I'll share my screen very quickly here. So I do want to show two things that we've done in the past 3 years, and I'm sharing the wrong screen. There we go.
All right, some Discord. You're just trying to bring the esports flavor to it. I get it.
So one product we launched actually quite some time ago that I'm going to be honest, we probably done not a good job marketing or trying to take enough to schools and the people who wants it, is we made an adaptive gaming kit, which enables people with different needs to actually be able to capable to play even at the highest levels. But we did do something this year that I'm quite proud of, and that is we hosted the LOGITECH'S Adaptive Esports League. So, and now I understand this is not really educational focus, but what it does do is embrace a community of accessibility that then challenge us to think bigger scope and how we can bring in more people and not discourage different users from participating in esports. Because I do believe that long-term accessibility is going to be just a minor hinder to participate and actually be competing at the highest level, and thereby also find a career path forward, whether it's actually as a player or is involved as a coach or a data analysis or whatever. Just being incorporated is a great starting point. So I do think we do some great ways. We have a long way to go, but we do see this as a growing path forward. I'll stop share there.
That's right. So I love that you highlighted the adaptive controller kit, right? Because that is so important. And I think, it's funny you said that the second thing, the adaptive esports games wasn't specifically education. But one thing we know as educators is that we will take anything we find out there and make it education. So you better believe there's somebody who's making like the education version of that at their school already. And I know there's some incredible partnerships out there when it comes to like esports and the Special Olympics and things like that, that those opportunities that trickle to the students, in our schools, obviously over the years, having a focus on students with disabilities and students that are differently abled than others, like has become so important. And so to see that, there are products out there that can help those students have a similar or the same experience as others is so important, right? So even though that event wasn't targeted at education, like it's definitely going to make an impact. So there are so many tools out there, right? We've talked just about our little corner of the world here today, but we hinted at, hardware and other things. I know we did sort of a basic overview of what you all have, but what do you think makes, what Unreal and what Logitech are doing in the space? What do you think makes it so unique for creators, for esports, or whichever angle you want to go there? And we're going to go in the reverse of what we just heard. So Robin, we're going back to you first.
Sure. So instead of talking about product, what we do unique, I think, is that we actually work with the content creators and the esports organizations in multiple different ways. So I can disclose that we do work with them more than just product development. So for example, we're sitting right now in how we can involve in cognitive performance. We are providing training tooltips for the team that we sponsor. That's kind of how the industry works. We favorize the ones we like. But what it does, what we're really doing right now is we're investing in them more than just, here's some money and here's some product and go do good. The next level is really how do we embrace and increase the performance of these teams? And that starts really with understanding what drives wins and understanding the game itself and what they're trying to do. So this is going to be such a long answer, sorry. But when I started esports 20 years ago, the whole purpose of esports was play, be good. That was kind of, I would not even be a top 1,000 player today by that standard. Today, you need to teach very young demographics the power of review, and that's the power of esports because it's all hosted within the computer. The power of reviewing your content, provide your gameplay, do data analyst work so you can actually understand where's your mistake, how do you improve. Then we put that in an AI machine that we throughout developed to try to give you hotspots within the game on how you improve. And then we're sitting in like group session on how to communicate with each other, because we know, I think everyone knows here that an angry teenager is not really helpful in a team. So we need to okay, how can we make this constructive? How can we make, because these are teenagers playing at the highest level. They're making $1 million, for God's sake. And from there, we are actually now trying to educate the power of physics, like your physics. So we need to actually now host training sessions and put them on schedule, because if you've seen these, any athlete, they have a very rigorous eating and even chess players eating and workout schedule. And we need to do the same thing with pro players. So we're doing all of that in the background for the sole purpose of having our teams perform at the highest levels and think more outside than just the game, because that's how we get to wins.
Listen, Robin, I wish we could have found something you were passionate about, that you could really dive into. But you know what I love, Carolyn, I think it's a perfect transition to you, right? Because talking about like the VOD review, right? If we've seen anything over the last 10 years, even in education and teaching, right? It's like that power of being able to watch yourself, right? Looking at the video, as painful as it is to go back and watch it the first few times you do it, you learn so much, like that you might say 67 times a class, right? Or all right, or all of those things. So what do you feel like Logitech is doing uniquely, right? Obviously, Robin's was really heavy on the esports side, maybe within education or just wherever you're thinking.
Okay, well, where should I trim this down? So piggybacking off of what Robin was saying, we do put our money where our mouth is, and we do work with other organizations like Generation Esports and Girls Who Code, and we truly go after and supporting and helping them adopt not only programs, but also really do fun summer camps that will help grow from anything from a coder to a adopting an excellent esports program and helping and nurturing them. So we do partner with some great to facilitate that. Now, if you're looking at kind of a unique take on Logitech, we have a really great business group within our entire company called the Center of Excellence. And that Center of Excellence is strictly dedicated to how we can pull our products and specifically leverage them for education. So we have this entire BG that is working with all of our different product lines: Blue Microphone, Mevo cameras, which is our live streaming camera, Logi G, our core products, our video collaboration products, all doing these awesome projects to see what fits into education and what can be tweaked to fit into education and make it, and then what can we develop for education. So it's really this huge mentality of we've got the support and we've got the passion. Robin's got the passion. So we all have this huge vested interest in taking this content creation mentality to a teacher, to a student, to an esports player, to an esports program. And it really does help support all of these schools by having the equipment that definitely will be able to help them execute flawlessly and promote those within their schools. How's that?
All right, Brian, take us home.
Okay,
What makes Unreal so unique in the space? Follow that.
Yeah. So, okay, so here's the deal. So we've got Epic Games, this interactive 3D platform. Here's the interesting thing, like Epic Games created Unreal Engine. That's the platform that created Fortnite, right? So you have Fortnite, which is a game that a tremendous amount of people have played. And the thing I think about is, especially like thinking of the phases my kids have gone through with, Minecraft is cool, Minecraft's not cool, Fortnite's cool, Fortnite's not cool. I think of it like the Legos in your closet, right? So it's like you don't, as you get older, you don't invite your friends over to play Legos anymore. But if you learn stop motion animation and your friend is over, you're going to go get your Legos. And those Legos are going to be super useful in that learning environment. And so I see the Fortnite Creative as one of those aspects, like this box of Legos that whether or not you continue to use it ongoing, that's a tool that's in your closet that you're familiar with, and you could pull that out as you're learning new things and piling new skills and new experiences on top of it. You're leveraging, like I said, that whole investment, you're leveraging that forward into new projects and new learning. And so I think that's super exciting. So, it doesn't have to be like, I don't play Fortnite anymore. No, like you have Fortnite in your closet, and you can pull that out whenever you need to do the next thing. And so it's always there. And then you have Unreal Engine, which is the thing that created all of this. And you could get there because that branches off to all of these careers. And I think the cool thing there is that Unreal Engine can take you all the way up to the top floor, right? But the elevator goes to the ground floor, right? The door will open for you and welcome you as a brand newcomer to the process. The elevator is there for you, and you could take it all the way up to the top, or as far as you want to take it. So I think that's a real interesting thing that Epic brings to the table as a publisher, as a game engine creator, as a career potential, so leveraging all those things together is one of the things that I'm excited about that makes Epic unique. And I think, offers this just like unimaginable, unreal opportunity for students today.
I like the plug. I caught it.
Epic plug there.
Nice, thank you.
And I'll tell you, you're speaking to my teacher heart, because throughout this conversation, I can say two things that I heard overwhelmingly is that we're building those transferable skills, and it's all about collaboration because you're building a community within this space of creators. So hats off to everybody, because this definitely spoke to my teacher heart.
Awesome.
And we did not have any questions really in the comments from the audience, but lots of enthusiasm about Oregon Trail. So maybe that tells us the age of the audience. So
Thank you. The best
So
game.
there, listen, Carolyn, I don't know if you were paying attention to the chat, but my wife told me this the other day. There is a new Oregon Trail on Apple Arcade. And Kathy, I also want to give a shout out, not just to our panelists who did a wonderful job, and some of the folks at Logitech who were putting in, like making sure that we were able to produce this and put this together. But Kathy Chow Isaacs from Epic Games was crushing the chat game. I mean, she was all over it. Like if one of us mentioned something that like possibly could exist, like the link for it was in there 5 seconds later. So Kathy, thank you so much. Panelists, thank you so much. We are going to be hosting this content. I have a YouTube page called Focus on EDU. It'll be confusing because the link says Focus on K-12. I haven't changed it yet, but it'll be hosted there afterwards. So I'll throw that link in the chat as well. But thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. And thank you for everybody participating in the chat along as well.